A race car sits outside a candy factory in New Jersey. The number on the hood is 18. The driver who made that number famous is gone. And the company that built its brand off his back for 14 years still hasn't said a word about honoring him. That silence is starting to feel like a decision. Kyle Busch died on May 21st at age 41. Pneumonia turned into sepsis, and it happened fast. A hospitalization, then gone within days. For years, Mars and its M&M's brand were plastered across his car. That partnership ended after the 2021 season. Busch left Joe Gibbs Racing for Richard Childress Racing in 2023 when JGR couldn't replace that sponsorship money. Now, in the weeks since his death, fans have pushed for throwback paint schemes celebrating his championship years, schemes that would naturally include M&M's branding, because that's the era they're from. A tribute car planned for Lime Rock Park's ARCA race, styled after his 2019 title-winning look, got scrapped days before the event. The team blamed the stuck approval process. Fans immediately pointed at Mars. To understand why this thing's, you have to understand what that sponsorship actually built. From 2008 through 2022, Mars poured serious money into that car, reportedly around $20 million a year spread across most of a season's worth of races. That's not a logo slap, that's a full identity. Busch's Rowdy persona and M&M's Candyman campaign fed off each other for over a decade. 2 championships came out of that partnership in 2015 and 2019, plus the bulk of his 55 wins with Gibbs. When the split happened in late 2021, both sides framed it as business as usual, a big brand reallocating its budget, wanting to chase new audiences. Standard corporate language, nothing dramatic on paper. But paper doesn't capture what actually happened next. Gibbs spent nearly a year hunting for a replacement sponsor at that price point and came up empty. The only deal they landed covered 6 races. Busch, unwilling to run a partial season car, walked. 15 years at one organization ended because the money dried up. Fast forward to now, he's dead. Fans are grieving in the most NASCAR way they know how, leaving candy at makeshift memorials outside Daytona and RCR's shop. And the one company whose products became inseparable from his identity is, according to critics, the reason his throwback tributes can't get built. Here's where this gets complicated and where a lot of the outrage online is skipping steps. Start with the legal reality. Paint schemes using a sponsor's branding aren't just nostalgic decisions, they're intellectual property decisions. Mars owns the M&M's name, the color scheme, the character designs, all of it. A race team can't legally slap that branding on a car for a one-off tribute without sign-off, no matter how well-intentioned the gesture is. That approval process critics are mocking might genuinely be a legal review, not corporate cold feet. But here's the other side, and it's the side fueling the anger. Optics matter more than legal technicalities right now. Mars had 4 years to decide how it wanted to be remembered in Kyle Busch's story. A driver just died suddenly, mid-career, with his kids still young. This was the moment for a company to say, whatever red tape exists, we're clearing it, publicly, quickly, unmistakably. Instead, the silence let a narrative form, and once a narrative like that takes hold, it's almost impossible to walk back. There's also a business risk buried in here that most fans aren't clocking. Mars spent over a decade building genuine grassroots equity with NASCAR's fan base through this exact driver. That equity doesn't just disappear because the sponsorship ended. It lives in memorabilia, in habits, in brand loyalty passed down at tracks for years. Being seen as the company blocking a beloved driver's memorial threatens to torch loyalty that took a decade and hundreds of millions of dollars to build. That's not a small marketing miscalculation. That's a self-inflicted wound to one of the most successful sports sponsorships in modern NASCAR history. So is this smart or dangerous for Mars? If it really is just a legal technicality getting resolved quietly, staying silent is a defensible short-term call. But if this drags on much longer without a public statement, it stops looking careful and starts looking cold. In the court of fan opinion, that's a losing position no matter what the contracts say. The emotional split here is stark. On one side, you got fans who feel like Mars is standing between them and closure. The candy left at memorials wasn't just a cute gesture. It was fans reclaiming a piece of Busch's legacy that Mars, in their eyes, walked away from once and might be blocking again. On the other side, a smaller but real group of voices are pointing out the obvious legal approval process for licensed IP take time. And jumping to corporate villain within weeks of a driver's death might be grief looking for somewhere to land. Either way, the conversation isn't fading. It's growing louder. Every day, Mars stays quiet. Best case, Mars issues a clear statement in the coming weeks, fast tracks approval for tribute schemes, and maybe even funds one themselves as a gesture of goodwill. The narrative flips from blocking a legend to honoring one, and the brand recoups the goodwill it's currently bleeding. Worst case, the silence continues. More tribute plans quietly die in approval. More fans connect the dots publicly, and Mars becomes a permanent footnote in how this tragedy gets remembered. The company that couldn't get out of its own way when it mattered most. So here's the real question. Is this a genuine legal bottleneck getting unfairly painted as corporate villainy, or is Mars quietly protecting a brand image at the worst possible moment? Drop your take in the comments. Tell me which throwback scheme you'd want to see honor him first. And if you want the sports world's biggest storylines broken down like this, no fluff, no filler, make sure you're subscribed. We're just getting started.